You see that title? How do we safely clear Saidaioujou, which is in the upper echelon of cave games in terms of difficulty? Well, while I can't make the game easy, I can make it safer by showing you this survival route, which limits the amount of dangerous sections you'll have to think about run to run. In fact, the route is so good that it'll get you to Hibachi with enough resources to kill her. So if you're just interested in the survival run of the normal game, or if you want to see as many runs into Hibachi as possible, I got a lot here to show you. Our ship of choice for this run is A-Shot, which is easily the best ship in the game because of its fast speed and its completely absurd damage on its shot. You don't need to learn the chaining or scoring mechanics of this game because you're automatically going to reach both of the scoring extends with this route. I learned this game primarily through Asagami's run, so I'll link their run in the description. Additionally, I streamed most of my attempts, including the clear run that we're going to see today, so I'll link that. Let's begin the run. Now, we're going to make sure that we pick auto bombs on. Even though with auto bombs off, we get more bombs to use, we really want it on because this is not a game where you see you're in a dangerous position and then you bomb to get yourself out of there. This is a game where you just get clipped by shit that you're not expecting. So having auto bombs on is critical. And whatever hypers you have will remain there even if you trigger the auto bomb. Now, we picked AS, so our shot's incredibly good. In fact, it's so good that it deals more damage than our laser to the mid-sized enemies. So we're about to get our first pair here. Now, we don't need to memorize where all the Zakos are. We just want to memorize the patterns of these mid-sized enemies. So it starts off in the middle, then the left, then the middle, then the right. So watch here. Middle, left, middle, right. We deal with them before they can shoot too much. You see, as we killed this middle one with our laser, we revealed a B here. Even though we're not playing for score, and in fact, we're not going to be chaining at all, we want to pick up all of these Bs because the Bs are critical for a hypermeter. If you pick up every single B in a stage, the final B will give you one hyper. That'll be important for resources for the bosses. So we pick up the B there. And now we're getting ready for this next pair. We're going to have middle, right, and then it's going to be left, middle, right. You remember where that is, and then it makes this a lot cleaner. You kill those as fast as possible. Now, with this section here, I'm kind of leaning on the left because there's a lot of tanks there, and we're getting ready right after these turrets and Zakos for this mid-tank right here. We're shooting it with our shot because it deals more damage. You see, we revealed a B on the left, and now as we go along to kill these Zakos, that's a good time to pick up the B. Here's the next set of mid-sized enemies. They're going middle, right, and then it's going to staircase back over to the left. Now here we have our first mid-boss. Now you're going to see here we're not going to shoot it at all. This is because we don't want to build too much hyper because our hyper relates to our rank. You see the rank at the top, it's currently 0. Anytime we spend a hyper, our hyper rank goes up. The higher the rank, the faster the bullets are. For this run, we're trying to keep that as low as possible. So we're going to have a balance between using our hypers for it to make all the hard sections easier and using our bombs to drop our rank. By not shooting this boss and killing it, all of these enemies, we don't have to memorize where all of them are. They won't shoot. We only have to deal with this boss. So we effectively skip the second half of this stage, and we don't build too much hyper. So we're always going to keep it low and keep it to where we want. Here's how you dodge this mid-boss. So mid-boss comes in, and there's going to be 3 Bs we want. First off, this building on the left, we want to grab that one. This one's pretty easy to grab. However, this next pattern here is fairly hard to dodge. So while I'm comfy with dodging it with the shot, if you find you move too fast, you can use your laser, kind of like here, to slow yourself down, especially at the end when you pick up this B on the right, because we have these 2 overlapping patterns, and this one's a bit easier to do while lasering. While we don't want to build too much hyper, if you find that it's too difficult to use your shot, just use your laser to help you with the slower move speed to dodge here. That's completely fine. You won't build too much. Now, at the end of this boss, right after this pattern, there's a B on the right. We want to get ready on the right here so we can kill those 2 mid-sized enemies on the right, and then we're clean to pick up that B on the left. Right after we pick up these 2 Bs, this is the final B. We pick it up, we get that guaranteed hyper meter. That's going to be important for dealing with a lot of the bosses. We kind of want all the Bs, not only if you want to fight Hibachi. Here's the first boss. This boss is the meanest cave first boss I've ever seen. The reason it's so mean is because the last pattern's really hard. So what we want to do in this first pattern is we want to point blanket at the start for as much as possible. So we want to laser as much as possible early. But we have this pattern right here that's dangerous. So how do we dodge that? You see here, it's going to pick either a left or a right side for these initial spreads. You see these pink bullets? even though we're up close, we actually have enough time to react to if it's the left or the right side. So we see, oh, it's on the right side, so we move to the left. Then the right, we dodge those. Now we're getting these aim shots, and we're going to get 2 waves of those aim shots. But it so happens if we do that exact movement again, so we're on the right side, we're just going to dodge to the left, then the right. We're perfectly good. We dodge the aim shots automatically. At this point, we want to start dodging downwards. We've done enough point blank. I get a little greedy there, but you want to just go straight down, and then you can just tap dodge to get out of the way of these last aim spreads. Now, this pattern here, you don't want to move right away. You'll run out of room. Wait till it's about like halfway towards you, and then you can move to the side. If you find you've ran out of room, you can use your shot for the additional speed. That's perfectly fine. Now, we did all that point blank, so we can deal with this final pattern for as little time as possible. This pattern is fucking mean. In fact, it's so mean, it's like a lot harder than most of the bosses in this game. Here's what I've found to deal with it as easily as possible. You see, you want to be under it. Look at the boss up top. It's moving to the right and then the left. It can pick either side. Instead of being directly under the boss, where you can find that you get locked in by the lanes. You see these vertical shots? You can't move through these. These will block you off. And if you're directly under the boss, it'll start moving to the other side, and you'll find you won't be able to hit it at all, and you'll have to navigate for additional time through these really hard patterns to get to the other side. Here's where we want to position ourselves. We want to think about the middle third of the screen. You see here, we're at the rightmost side of like the middle third. At this point, we can dodge in a clean lane through the middle where we don't have to dodge in any weird diagonal ways, and we don't get walled off by the vertical bullets. And we don't have to move that far when the boss moves to the left. You see here, we're now on the left side of the like vertical third of the screen. This means that we're always damaging the boss. The variation in how it shoots the spreads can be very different on how it can easily shoot you 2 of these really dense spreads of these circular shots on you that you'll have to be ready to react to. Here, I got a pretty comfortable pattern to dodge here. But if you find that you have a really hard spread, or just in general, if you find that this boss is giving you a lot of issues, you can spend your hypers here. This is a perfectly fine spot because you'll find otherwise, if you have trouble with this pattern, that this first boss is going to wall a lot of your runs. So even though we'll lose like a hyper use in the next stage, that's fine. The one in the next stage isn't as hard as that one, so feel free to hyper there. Now let's move on to stage 2. Stage 2 is pretty comfy. Once you know the route, not too much can go wrong in this stage. Right off the bat, there's going to be a bee on the top right, so we're going to reveal that immediately. You see these Zakos that pop up in the top left. We wait for those to kind of all spawn in, then you sweep over with your shot, wait for the top right to show up, sweep all those with your shot. We're waiting for all of these to spawn in, and then you can get them all in one go. We end up at the left here because we have these big enemies here. You can stay under them until you're about to be hit by these shots, and then you can move out of the way. Our shot does so much damage here, we don't even need to use our laser on it. And because our shot's wide, we usually kill it while we're trying to do the dodge. Now here, you see this tank on the left? That tank has a lot of spreads it shoots. But if we're on the right side of the screen, it completely seals that pattern entirely and we don't get to see it. Here's how you do this part. Right after this big enemy dies, we're going over to the left. And now we're waiting for all these Zakos to come in. We're waiting a bit. Now we move to the right side. You see that tank's completely sealed. And now we move up here. If you find that these tanks are point blanking you as you move up here, you want to wait a little bit before you make this forward movement. Like, you want these to shoot first. Once they've shot, then you can do a motion like this where you sweep in. By being here, you seal all these Zakos, so pretty much everything is sealed. If you have trouble doing this, then instead of running up to seal them, you can just hang out on the bottom right of the screen and shoot them down here. The dodges aren't bad on these guys. Now, once we see these Zakos dive bombing us here, that's our cue to move to the left side so we could clear out all these tanks as best as possible. Now we only have these to deal with. Make sure you pick up this B. We're slowly streaming here so that we kill everything coming out of this bunker here. And that'll leave us cleanly to here. We kill that big enemy pretty fast. Now, here's the thing about this game. We have to do a lot of restreams, a lot of streaming, and then cutting back. Here's a little bullet hell tip that's really important for this game, but it's kind of applicable everywhere. Whenever you're streaming by slowly tapping and all the aimed bullets get shot and miss behind you because you're slowly moving in one direction, whenever you want to switch directions, instead of tapping slowly, and then trying to find a way to move the other direction, what you want to do is you want to make one exaggerated fast movement, and that crafts you a pattern to move around. You see this a lot in this Zako section right here, where you're streaming to one side, and then when you want to cut, you make a fast motion to the other side, and that opens up a way to where you can cut back without getting walled by bullets. Now you see here, right as these enemies that shoot these blue shots come sweeping in, make sure you pick up that beat, by the way. We're going to use our hyper here. If you use your hyper on the last boss, then you probably don't have it for here, and that's completely fine. You can do this boss without it. Now we're going to get as much point-blank damage with our laser. Even though our shot deals more damage than our laser, point-blanking with the laser is going to be dealing more. So we sit here on top of the boss, and then we move down as soon as it shoots. And now these, you just tap to the side, and you'll dodge all these. Move over here, there's a bee there. You don't even need to like re-laser to pick it up. Your laser will automatically hit it. Make sure you pick up that bee, and the boss will go down before this last section here. This last section is fairly difficult, but because we used our hyper, we don't get to see very much of it. Now, we need to clean up all of these Zakos. There's a bee on the right, so we're kind of positioning ourselves so that we could reveal that right bee at some point. See how we mentioned manipulating the Zakos? We're streaming to the left, then we make one big motion, and that gives us a gap to move to the other side. After we pick up the bee, you see we're hugging this right wall. As soon as all these Zakos are dead, and there's nothing else that can shoot, now we can move up and around and get ready for this big enemy. Don't worry, if you don't kill that big enemy in time, it will not shoot again. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even shoot again. So you can completely ignore it. We're gonna laser this guy, not only... Well, mostly because there's a bee right here. You see this little building here? There's a bee there, so we're lasering him, and then we'll shot. Once again, if it doesn't die there, that's completely fine. Now, you see here, we're going to get another big tank. You see this right tank? We don't need to seal that because we can shoot it a lot faster than the one at the beginning of the stage. So here's what we do. This big enemy dies. We kill these enemies sweeping in from the right, and now we're killing this while slowly tapping to the left so those tanks on the left don't hit us. There's a bee here. Right after this... stream of enemies here is finished. We move to the right to get rid of these turrets so they don't deal with us. Now we're back over to this bunker, slowly streaming to the right, so we're in a position to pick up this last beat. Now you see here, we don't want to shoot too much. You see up there, that's a bomb carrier. Look at our bombs. Our bombs are currently maxed out. If we pick up that bomb, we'll get the maximum bomb bonus, but we won't get the additional bomb usage. And we want to use that bomb during the boss. So here's what you do. After you pick up this bee and these Zakos start streaming in, you're going to slowly tap your shot just so they don't ram into you. It's enough to kill them. And you're slowly streaming across. And at some point, the warning signs get cancel all the bullets on screen, and these turrets will stop shooting at you. You need to kill this bomb carrier right here. It's at, like, close to the bottom of the screen. If you time it to right here, this is an excellent spot where it'll be in a good position for when we want to use it on the boss. Here's the boss. So the first bit's a bit of dodging. Now these are fairly easy to get through, but here we're going to have multiple layers of these. I find if you dodge through the first one and then you stay there, you're going to get hit by the second and third layer. So what you do is you dodge the first one, then you tap to the side, and you're usually in an open lane. See right here, both this left and the right side will get through both of these. So that way you're really only dodging that first one and then moving off to the side. Now you see here, for this second pattern, we're going to start on one side and slowly stream to the other. This pattern gets harder and harder as it goes, so what we're doing is we're saving our hyper for this spot. We're lasting as long as possible, and then once we're on this side, we're going to pop hyper and then start moving to the other side, and we'll have enough room to get there. Now this pattern's not too hard to dodge, it's just like before. However, now we have to get through these red bullets, and these red bullets are fairly difficult because they're overlapping with the blue. How do we deal with it? This is where that bomb comes in. So we're going to pop bomb now. You see our rank is at 4 because of our hyper usage. By using the bomb here, we lower our rank to 2, and we pick up that bomb. If we pop that bomb carrier right where we did before at the start of this fight, then it's always going to appear right here. You don't have to like go out of your way to pick it up. It's always in the perfect position. So we pop bomb, and as we do that, we're going to point blank the boss while we're invuln. The bomb lasts a long time because this ship has an especially long slowdown with its bomb. So you hang out up there and point blank the boss. And by the time our bomb's done, it's going to reset to the start of this phase where this first pattern's really easy to dodge. So you don't have to sweat doing enough damage. If you brought 6 hypers into this boss, then you pretty much melt it before it has a chance to, after this bomb, do any more dodges. Like right now, it would be dead. But really, this is the only dodge you have to do. So I don't really recommend bringing full hypers in. I just make the mid-boss of this stage easier, or the end of stage 1 boss. You see this pattern? This one looks pretty spooky because it walls us off from the middle, so we have to move off to the sides and we have to deal with the red shots. Luckily, this pattern is hella static. Look, we're gonna point blank the boss here. And now, as we find that we're running out of room, so like after this first red shot, these blue bullets are coming in, we move to the left, and then we wait for here. You see there's this clean opening. You move back to there, and then you move back to the side. It looks scary. It's super, super static. Like, you make this motion the same time every single time, and the only thing you have to watch out for are just making sure you don't ram your head into these red bullets. So this one's perfectly fine. This is probably the most comfy boss in this run. Now we have stage 3. This is a huge spike in difficulty. However, what's nice about this stage is it's all based on the route. Once you have the route down, the stage really isn't too bad. At the very beginning, we want to start on the right side. We're waiting for these Zakos to come in. Now we can sweep them all to the left, reveal this B. Now we sweep them all to the right, then sweep them all to the left. And that'll deal with all the Zakos. You see these teleporting mid-sized enemies? We're going to be seeing these a lot. These spreads are shot relative to the player at us. So right after we sweep for 3 times and we pick up that B, we're sitting under this first teleporting enemy. I didn't kill it there, but you want to stay there until you kill it. And we're sweeping all them. You see a big feature of this stage. You see these buildings here? They have a turret on top. But after the turret's dead, you can damage the building. If you kill the building, you get a bullet cancel. We're going to be abusing those a lot. As soon as that building dies, we're running up here while nothing's on screen to laser this turret here. You can either laser the turret and then move off to the side and start moving in like a U to the other side, or you could just go straight down like I did here. Right after that turret dies, all these Zakos come in on the left. We make one motion to the left and we kill all of them. And you see that this mid-sized enemy is teleported in. As soon as that one teleports in, that's our cue to move. Make sure you don't get blindsided by looking at when this mid-sized enemy pops up. You'll get hit by this turret. By doing motions like these, we mitigate how many bullets we actually have to do dodges for. Now, I messed up this section here, so I'll show you afterwards how it does cleanly, but there's 2 Bs on this ship, more teleporting in enemies. So right after this bridge section, we have this river section. This is the hardest section of this level by far. It took me a really long time to learn because I got confused in which part was where. So I'm going to go really step by step in how you do every single section of this part and deal with the mid-boss as easily as possible. So we start here. We're in the middle, and we have these Zakos flooding and shooting these aim shots. We're moving to the left and tapping up. This puts us here. We want to be up here for these 2 teleporting enemies on the top left and middle. As soon as they start shooting, we just hold to the right, and we're able to macro their spreads entirely, and we do enough damage to kill them. That's the beauty of using AS. And it leaves us right onto this boat. Right after this boat dies, we're waiting for these Zakos to pop in. We start moving to the left. And then back over, we want to kill this turret. So we're going to laser it to kill it as fast as possible. You see this teleporting enemy on the top left showed up. Don't move to it just yet. You see this huge boat here? This boat will cause a lot of bullets to linger on screen. So we stay kind of here until it's dead, and then as this blue shot starts shooting, we start moving to the left. And it usually creates these lanes for us. You see, we got this clean lane on the left here we can move in. Right after that, we want to kill that other turret. Now, remember, this building gives us a bullet cancel. So right after we kill this turret, we stop shooting. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Now we kill it with our laser, so it dies immediately. We're using the time with this bullet cancel and the delay for this middle boat here to get as low to the screen as possible so we can point blank it with our laser and position on the right. By positioning on the right, we're baiting this middle-sized enemy. It shots to the right, and we're killing this boat on the top right, so it can't do anything to us later. Once again, we move through that lane it creates us. Now we want to get over to the right side. There's another building. We're going to laser the first turret. Now we move to the side. After all these Zakos, we get back to this building, and now we're on to the mid-boss. So let me show you in real time, since I was pausing a lot, how you do all this. So we clean out this bridge section. Right after this big boat, we stay in the middle. We're streaming upwards. We're going to macro everything. We're killing this boat on the right. Now we want to move to the left and then back to the right. You see this building's coming in. We kill the turret. We're waiting to kill that boat on the top right. So now there's no big enemies on screen. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Get the bullet cancel. Laser this boat. We're baiting everything on the right, so we kill the boat and get a clean lane to kill the teleported mid-sized enemy. One more turret here, then we move out of the way to kill all these Zakos. And now we're finally onto the mid-boss. This is the Katsui boat. This boat's fucking crazy. But luckily, if we're playing for survival, and we brought our hypers and bombs into this, we can trivialize this entire boat completely. Here's how this boss works. So we're right on top of this building. We've killed both the turrets. You want to kill the building. You can kill it whenever. I did it slow for some reason. As soon as you kill it, there's two parts that we want to focus on this boss. You see where the boss is shooting from. You see these two right here? They're shooting these blue bullets. We want to focus down those two sections. So we use a hyper, and then right as our hyper invuln runs out and the bullets are active again, we pop a bomb. Right after the bomb, now we just need to focus on this other one that's shooting the blue bullets. You hear the explosion? That's done. Now the only thing that can shoot us are these aimed pink shots. It's really, really easy. So all we have to do is just be slowly tapping, and we're completely fine. It's so easy to deal with this. Now we have to deal with the top half of the boat. Here's what we're going to do. So I'm not 100% sure on how this works, but you see all these blue spreads? These have a chance to not spawn. I think it's relative to how much damage you did to the boss. Since I did a little bit more damage than usual, I think it shot like one wave of this, but it's only shooting that one wave. So it's not too bad to deal with even if that happens, so don't worry about it too much. Most of my runs, like these pink bullets from up here, are the only thing that's shooting. Now we want to laser this turret right away, and then we want to get in a position to laser the next one. Look at the top half of the ship. You see this little grate? This little like chocolate bar in the middle, that square there? We absolutely do not want to kill that. That'll make this boss really hard. But what we do want to kill is, you see these turrets here that we're currently lasering under? This little section here, that's two turrets. So we're using the cancel to position ourselves so we can laser those two, and we're waiting for two explosions. So we use the cancel, we position under it, we're lasering it, so we're just hitting these two. One explosion, two explosions, stop. If you shoot any more, you kill that grate. See, we left the grate alive. If we kill that grate, you see down here these two helipads that also have a grate. If you kill the grate on the top, these will get destroyed and two turrets will pop out, and you'll have to point blank them immediately, or else they shoot huge spreads that cause you a lot of problems. If you only kill the two turrets and not the grate, then nothing down here activates and you're fine. You don't have to dodge pretty much anything, and you're free to deal with these buildings here. Now, after we kill this building on the bottom, there's going to be a turret up here. We're just going to laser it down and it can't hit us. And now we're on to the second half of the stage. Second half is much easier. Now, you don't need to pick up this bomb. There's a section easier to pick it up later. This bomb will last a long time here. I just picked it up because why not? Now, we want to position ourselves because the first big enemy is on the left. You see here? We can kill it before it can shoot. And now we want the laser on the right. We're killing both the Zakos, and there's an upcoming turret here. I went off it early, but you want to point blank it with your laser, and as soon as it explodes, you hold to the left, and you'll kill this big enemy before it can shoot. Mine shot here, but it's fine. It's the only enemy on screen. Now, this is important. We want to kill the second turret, and now we're staying on the right side of here. We don't want to kill this building just yet. We're waiting. We shoot it. We use this bullet cancel to sweep all the Zakos instantly, and we kill that enemy on the top right before it can shoot anything. Now we deal with all these big enemies without any Zakos to deal with. Now we want to kill these tanks before this teleporting enemy comes in. You see that's on the left? We get control of the camera. That's your cue that these teleporting enemies come in now. It's no longer like auto-scrolling to the side now. You kill those two. There's a bee right there. This section's quite freeform. You don't have to route it very tightly. We just use that building cancel to deal with everything. Sweep side to side. We kill all these enemies. Now we're coming up to the river right after this dam. As soon as this river reaches the halfway point, we want to be on the right side. So we're manipulating these bullets, and we're like doing the cuts so that we can position ourselves so we kill that big enemy immediately on the right. Now there's one immediately on the left. Now we have a little bit of time before the next two. So what I do to kill time is I just sweep over like left, right, left, right. And now we have enough time to kill this one and this one. And that's the end of the stage. Second half is way easier than that whole like diagonal river section. Here's 3 bees. Look, we're gonna get, because we picked up all the bees once again, we get 3 hypers. Hypers are important here. We want to have like 3 to 4 hypers. We'll be building that 4th one for this boss. We want to have that for the second phase of this boss. Now this boss, we have our first real damage race. The last pattern here is fairly difficult to dodge, so we want to do as much point blank damage as possible. The problem is that this first phase is fairly difficult, and I'll show you a pitfall I ran into. You see this pattern here? We're doing point blank at the start, and then we're going to be moving down. These spreads are relative to you, so you just have to tap to evade them. Now, when I was first learning, I got scared of dodging the last pattern, so I tried to point blank during this section here. You don't want to do that. You don't actually get that much damage by point blanking in this section, and it's really fucking hard. If you're like right next to the boss trying to dodge these spreads, you'll get clipped really easily. Now, once those spreads are done, you want to point blank the bosses for as long as possible. We're hanging out on the side here. The collision of the boss is not on these legs, but it's on like the main boss itself. You want to get a good feel for what is a point blank and what is not, or else you're going to accidentally ram the boss a lot. This pattern is fairly weird. Here's what I do. We're going to make a C motion. So we're starting here, and then we're going to move to the left, and then up, and then to the right. So left, up, right. We dodge those. We're trying to get in a position now to point blank the boss. After you get in a position here, just stay there. You're constantly point blanking the boss, and these spreads this time are spread around you. So you stay there, and you won't get hit at all. Now, one issue is you see the boss movement here. The boss is going to move down at the very end of these. So if you find for these last dodges that you're going to run into the boss because you went too high, you're going to want to move downwards. Often you usually have a good pathway to move down. If you've done it right, you kill it before even seeing this phase. If you do see this phase like I did here, then you only have to dodge for a little bit, and that's completely fine. Now for phase 2, this is where we're going to use our hypers. You see we have 4 hypers. The higher your hyper, the higher damage multiplier you'll have with the hyper. Look, we've already fucking killed it. Here's what you do. We're waiting for the blue bullets. Right as these blue bullets are about to hit us, pop hyper. Now we're sticking our hitbox in the middle of the boss so that these blue bullets coming out of the middle are completely disintegrated. They're completely canceled by our involved frames. And we don't have to do any dodges at all as long as you make sure to delete those blue bullets. Don't have to make a single dodge. This whole phase dies immediately, and we carry hyper into the next one. There's a few strategies you can do for this boss. This phase is really fucking hard. As it goes on and on and on, it gets more and more and more difficult. There's 2 ways to deal with it. What we're going to do is we're going to dodge as long as possible and then bomb. We're going to dodge for about 3 to 4 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, or just whenever we feel we're in danger. And then we're going to pop bomb. Flick your shot for just a second and then switch back to laser, and you'll get enough speed to get a little dash up to the boss, and then you can do some point blank damage on it. You want to get up fast so you do get your point blank right away. That way you don't have to dodge any more of it. Now, if you don't have any bombs remaining because you got auto bombs somewhere on the stage, or let's say you don't want to use your hypers on the second phase because there's a strat where you hold your hypers until either like stage 4 mid-boss or stage 5 mid-bosses. If you're doing something like that, then what you do is you dodge phase 2 normally, and then for phase 3, you can sit in a safe spot right here. You see this green stripe here? This green stripe is in a spot where these bullets can't hit you, and you won't ram into the boss. The problem, this safe spot's fairly tight. I'm not very good at doing this safe spot, and the boss has random movement left and right. You have to be very well aware of that. So I find it much more consistent to just use the bomb and get through this so that we make it to stage 4. You want to get through stage 1, 2, and 3 fairly consistently, so the only things you have to worry about are some parts of stage 4 and stage 5. Ready for stage 4? Stage 4 is the motherfucker. There's a lot of really dangerous sections here. I'm going to point out which ones especially gave me trouble and what I did to help make them more consistent. We start on the left, move over to the right. We're using our laser both to reveal a B, and we're picking up all of these score items. They're not just for score. They contribute to our hyper gauge. We don't need to be as conservative with our hyper meter as before. Now we want to build as much hyper as possible, so just periodically you can flick your laser. You'll pick up these score items. They'll help towards your hyper gain. Now we have these big mid-sized enemies. You see how they laddered like that? As soon as we get to this left side, we need to get ready to sweep all of them with our shot. We're using our shot so we're fast enough to get to them so they only shoot these blue bullets and nothing else. Makes it a whole lot easier. Now we're going to slowly make our way to the right. If you didn't pick up that B from before, now's a great time to pick it up. In fact, I would usually pick it up there instead. Now, right after these Zakos from the right here are finally done, you have to be ready. We need to go really fast for these next mid-sized enemies. It's really easy for you to fall behind and for these to flood the screen. So be ready to go fast. Right after they're all done, you want to make sure you kill all of these Zako tanks in the middle. They shoot from pretty low on screen. You can use your laser. Like as these red bullets come in, use your laser. Makes it slow so it's easier to navigate through those. Here you move to the the left, right, whichever way the Zakos are coming from, you go from. Now you see these enemies, they're going to shoot these 3 colored spreads. These are a static spread made relative to the player. As we make it through 4 waves of these Zakos, this one finally appears. We're going to use our laser not only to make this an easier dodge since it's fairly tight, but it also reveals this bee here, and we're able to kill this. If we use our laser right under the big enemy and where this bee is right here, it opens this clean path where we can go to the right and through the left of those blue shots. Now get ready here. Here's a really fucking dangerous section. It doesn't look that dangerous, but this tank on the top right is fucking terrifying. So don't pick up this bee just yet. You can if you did everything really fast, but you really, really need to make sure this tank dies. This is a real critical part of the run where I threw a lot of runs. So make it to the top as high as possible before these Zakos flood in, and then start streaming down. The real issue is we kind of get locked in where we need to stream just enough that we don't get walled in by these really thick spreads, and we have enough room to dodge these Zakos. The reason this is especially tough is because in this game, these Zakos don't aim at you perfectly straight. They don't aim directly at you flawlessly. They have fixed turret angles. They can be very slightly ahead of you, and it causes a real fucking headache for this stage and the rest of them. The fucked angles of these Zakos can wall you really easily. You want to use your shot. Your laser will get caught on the Zakos and not be hitting the tank. You won't kill the tank in time. Use your shot, plus your shot's wide enough that as you're about to escape the pattern, you usually kill it by now. You really, really, really want to practice killing that tank. That tank is one of the run killers for me. You see this bee down here? You can actually pick it up really low on the screen. I failed to there, but it's really not so bad. If you miss that bee, that's fine. We already met the Hibachi bee requirement. And if you don't even care about that, we have hypers for the boss. It does give you 1 extra hyper for more damage to make the last boss of this stage easier, but it's not the biggest deal in the world, so don't sweat that bee so much. Just make sure that tank fucking dies. Right after we make it through the tank, go to the right, then the left. This positions us to pick up the bee, and now we're ready for these mid-sized enemies. You move to the right, they're all dead. Now, we're going to laser here, hug the left wall. We're waiting. We need to bait this enemy in a specific way to make dealing with all of the turrets and this big enemy easier, so we're waiting for these purple bullets. As soon as those pop out, you start moving to the right. We're getting to around the middle of the screen and then staying here for just a little bit. This is baiting the shots in a way that these purple shots and these blue shots create a clean lane for us. Check this out. It looks scary. Look at that clean lane. So just make sure that you don't move. Purple, you move. Now we're in the middle. Now move to the right. You got this clean lane. See these Zakos here? We're going to be on the left side of these pink aim shots. And our shot's wide enough that we kill all of these mid-sized enemies. And we pick up that last bee. Now get ready for the mid-boss. This is one of the most fucked cave mid-bosses, because we get our extend off this mid-boss, and holy shit, this first pattern is really hard. Here's how we set up for that mid-boss. Get to the top right, so we're spawn killing all those Zakos. As these left ones come in, we hold straight down. I want to tap. I would just hold straight down for safety. Now that we're on the bottom, hold down, and then start tapping diagonally down and to the left. This will make you move slower. You're trying to last as long as possible so that these Zakos you don't run into. And once you get up and around, you want to be slightly above these Zakos. You don't want to be like touching these Zakos, because it's fairly easy to get point blank by them. This mid-boss has our secret extend, and it's one of the most fucked cave secret extends to get, because you cannot bomb this mid-boss, including auto bombs. So we can't get touched at all. We can hyper, and we're going to need that. Here's the first 2 patterns. That one's fairly scary, and we need it to be in a good spot to set up for the second one. So here's how we deal with the first one. The first one's the real motherfucker. So these red and these blue are rotating in different directions. We're going to move along with the blue ones. So we can either pick this lane here, or we can move to the left. Depending on how they're positioned and how comfortable I feel. The safest one is to be in the left one, but here you can also do. I have trouble in the left one because you have to do like diagonal dodges, and I always get clipped by the red bullets. Here, we're going to start moving to the right. We don't have to dodge the blue bullets at all because we're moving along with it. We just have to dodge the red ones, so you're just focused on dodging the red. As we're on the right side where the blue collapses in on us, we're going to pop hyper. Now, if you're in this lane here, this middle lane, you don't have enough time to get through this entire pattern. Luckily, you only have a few bullets left, so you really just have to make one tap, and that's perfectly fine. But if you get in this left lane here, you can make it all the way to the right side, and you'll completely finish the pattern. It's just the red bullet dodges are harder there. Now, how do we deal with the second pattern now? All the circular bullets are aimed on you. And all of these vertical bullets are coming off from these like little options around the mid-boss. So here's what we do. We pop hyper, and now we're going to be on like the right side of the boss, slowly tapping to the left. And what we're doing is we're not worried about all these circular bullets. We're not looking at them at all. We are just looking at these needles, these blue verticals ones coming down. If they're about to land on you, you need to tap more. You have a little bit. Look. See this blue bullet right next to us? That's about as much leeway as we have in case we need to move forward a little bit to dodge these needles. So you're slowly tapping, and as you see, like right here, I got a fucked pattern where I'm having all of them like right on top of me. I'm just making sure I'm only looking at these needles and I'm tapping to the left. As soon as you get through that, you're home free. That was the hard part. That's where all my runs died on this fucking boss. But now that we're there, this next part's a bit easier. Right after this is done, you need to get to the side. Now, you really need to get to the side. You can't be, like, on the side of the boss. You need to be, like, really on the side. And don't worry about your point blank. We're getting a lot of point blank on this one right here. You want to sit right under the boss now. This looks pretty scary, but it's really easy to dodge from the halfway point up. And if you're on the kind of the side of the boss, you're dealing damage to everything that's shooting these red bullets. So just hang out on the side here. You're getting as much point blank damage as possible. You really, really want to point blank it because the next pattern is psycho hard. Now that we're done with the mid boss, we pick up the 1-up. We have enough of the bullet cancel and the slow-mo that you can just go ahead and pick it up. This here, we're getting a bunch of random Zakos and mid-sized enemies, depending on how fast we killed that mid boss. Once you recognize that, okay, now they're just Zakos here, we're going to make our way to the left. Because it's going to start with the mid-sized enemy on the left, and we're going to be alternating between the left and the right sides. So we kill the one on the left, we move to the right, then left, and the right. Now we're going to get a staircase of 3 of them. You'll just kill them as you move side to side, so you don't need to focus on it too much. You'll just naturally kill them. So here's how it's going to be. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, then 1, then 1, 2, 3. Now we're getting a new arrangement. Instead of being all the way across horizontally, we're getting 3 on one side. So we're getting 3 on the left. You want to copy this movement or something generally like it, and it'll position the Zako shots where we don't have to deal with them at all and you don't have to make any dodges. Right at the end here, you know, because the music's kicking in, you want to slowly stream to the right, and once we're at close to the end, make one big movement. This one big movement is going to create a path that we can restream back to the side because we're getting ready so that we can start streaming these pink bullets. Now, you see all of them on the left here. Don't go all the way to the left. Keep slowly tapping to the left because we want to be ready. This mid-sized enemy is starting from the middle, left, middle, right. Now we can start moving fast. Sweep all these Zakos. Now we just have from left, middle, right. One last pair of Zakos, and now you're through the elevator section. Second half of the stage is really scary. It's really, really tight on routing, so make sure you pay attention here. Right as these Zakos come in. We're going to hold to the left and then move to the right. That way we're positioned for these. We need to kill these mid-sized enemies really fucking fast. Sweep those fast. You need to move up here and point blank this with the laser as fast as possible. Don't look at anything else on screen except this mid-sized enemy you see it shooting this blue bullet. Watch for that blue bullet. That's the only thing you should be looking at to laser those 2 in the middle. Now we're going to stream from left to right, and this is really fucking important. This is the most important part of this stage. You see these 2 mid-sized Zakos that are coming in from the top middle and top right. As soon as those pop in, you got to curve around really fucking fast. Go, 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 go. You need to kill everything extremely quickly. You need to go as fast as possible. This is the motherfucker that stopped all my runs. The reason you need to be so fast and kill everything is so that you clear yourself a position to kill this top left turret. If you don't get to here really fast and are able to kill that top left turret, you can barely even see it. It's shooting those blue shots. You are so fucked. And now you stay there for just a split second, and then you can move to the right. Because our shot's so wide as we're moving to the right, we're doing the last amount of damage to kill it. And we get the jump ahead on these. You don't want to wait for that turret on the top left to die and then deal with these. You just don't have enough time. Now, these Zakos on the right, you want to make sure you're killing those immediately as they spawn. You see, We have another turret on the top right. Make sure you're killing that while streaming slowly to the left to deal with these Zakos. Now we're waiting, waiting, waiting. See those Zakos come in? That's your clear to go ahead to the right side. We're trying to kill these Zakos on the right side so they can't do anything. We're going to flick our laser once to reveal these two Bs, and we're streaming this big enemy to the left, and if any aim shots are remaining, going to the left. Makes that easier. Point blank this enemy. We're getting to the left side. Now you need to get within these lanes as long as you're constantly switching. Now I like to reveal that B and then stream to the right. It's a bit easier to stream to the right on these enemies than it is to deal with this enemy from the right going to the left because of the ways the Zakos will aim at you. As soon as that's dead, you can now grab this B. You need to start as high as you can on the left and start streaming these Zakos. You need to go really slowly. I go a little fast there. You could go even slower if you want. Go slow, 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 slow. As soon as these mid-sized enemies start popping in, that's when you want to start being on this top right quadrant of the screen. And now you're good. We finally made it to stage 4 boss. We're going to blow our resources right away because we want to deal with the last pattern. Point blank right away. Once these blue shots coming in, we're going to pop hypers. Last as long as possible, then bomb, and try to do as much point blank damage as possible. If we time our hypers and bombs like that, we don't have to do any dodges there. Now, it's going to pick to either move to the left or to the right. You see it move to the left here, so we want to move in this opening here, in that space it gave us. It's going to be shooting these aim spreads at us, but we can't simply just tap from one side to the other. Look how wide these spreads are. We run out of room. So whichever side it goes to, just go to the open area, use your shot, and you're trying to bait like 3 of these to one side. So 1, 2, 3. Now we want to start slowly moving. You want to be on the edge of these thick spreads, so that way you have enough room. If you're moving faster than that, then you're going to run out of room and get walled on the side. This pattern is way easier to dodge. You only have to move slightly to the left and right to dodge it if you're right under the boss. Now here, you have to pick one side and we're slowly streaming. Don't make any pauses, just keep tapping, 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 and you'll make it through, while also doing point blank damage to it. Now, if we brought in additional hyper and also point blanked better than we did here, we don't have to make this dodge right here. Because we did, we have to make one dodge, and now we have to dodge these pink bullets. So don't sweat your damage too much, just make sure you're not dying early off. Now right here, we're getting point blank damage right away, and then as soon as these sides open up, we're going to start moving down. And now we need to stream. We're doing the trick once again where we're holding down and then tapping left. We have to find the exact rhythm to where we make it ahead of these like triangle spreads without running into them, while also not moving too fast that we run into the ones ahead of us. Now you have to immediately move to the right. We're going to copy this exact motion regardless of how these pink spreads are. You may or may not, at this point here, have to use like your shot. I've done it a bunch of times where I've been able to use laser the whole time. I've also had a few times where I've had to use shot for the extra speed. Then it's perfectly fine and you can just adjust your speed as needed. And that pattern will die really fast, especially because we did that first point blank at the start. You see this here? If we don't want to have to dodge this at the bottom of the screen, we can hide in here. Unfortunately though, the boss has a mechanism for noticing that you're in the safe spot in the middle. It will shoot these red bullets in the middle at you if you just hide here in the middle. But we can trick it to shooting them on the outside by doing this. So here's what we do. Right as this is about to finish and it's about to shoot the red bullets, we're going to get to the side here and we're going to hold still. Don't move at all. We're waiting for the red bullets to shoot. They shoot, now we move, and using our aura, we pretty much destroy all of them really, really fast because we're point blanking them with our laser. So get to the side. Now don't move, don't move, don't move. Now move, now that they shot. And you just do that over and over and over again. It's really easy to deal with that once you get a feel for how to have them bait all on the outside. And that makes this whole boss, like second and third phases aren't bad at all. It's really just making sure you keep that first phase really tight. We're on to stage 5. This one is a motherfucker. This one is tight routing for the entire thing. We're going to be doing this route, assuming that we're trying to bring as many resources into Hibachi as possible. If you are just going for the one-all, what I would do is I would follow this route to the best of your ability. And any section that's giving you like a bit of inconsistency, just blow a resource on it. Like really, like by this point, in this route, we have a ton of resources to use. I can't use them because we got to save them for Hibachi. But like we have 5 lives in stock right now. We're about to build 1 extra extend. We start here. We are waiting for Zakos. There's going to be a turret on the left and then a tank on the right. So here's what we do. Wait for Zakos. Left, left, left. And we're trying to kill this. We're waiting. And as we move over to the right, that usually dies and the tank's dead. We stay here in the middle because this mid-sized enemy starts here in the middle. Then we can move to the left for the mid-sized one. Middle. And now we're on the right here. We're going to slowly stream down, and we got to wait. They're starting to come in. You might want to move to the left. Don't move to the left. We have to kill this enemy on the top right. That mid-sized enemy, you see that go down? Now you move to the left. Now it's fairly easy to deal with the rest of these. Now, I was trying something new on this run for some reason and fucked it up. So I got bombed there. After that section, we're sweeping these Zakos, and we're trying to be on the left side here, killing those Zakos so we have enough room on the right that we could deal with this enemy. Right after it's dead, move to the left and then to the right. We're sweeping everything so that we can kill this turret on the right and this tank on the top left without dealing with as many Zako shots as possible. We want to dodge as little as possible. Now this is the easiest section. You get to relax for a little bit as you kill these mid ones. And then we swing over to the right. You bait it just like that. All right, no more relaxing. Rest of the stage is fucked. We want to go slowly because there's this B here on the left here. And if you go too fast, then you have to do some dodges. It makes it really clean. And now you want to bait this turret 1 shot to the right so that it doesn't impede your movement at all. Now we got 2 turrets. I'm killing the one on the right first. Now we got first fuck section of the run. And now we're going to slowly stream to the right. We're slowly streaming, and now we're focused on all of the blue shots. These 3-way red spreads are wide enough that we have enough room to go fast or slow. We have room to like adjust how our movement is. Now you see this big enemy coming in. We're still using shot. We can keep tapping like normal, and then as this big spread comes, that's when you can make a more drastic movement if you want, but usually you don't have to make too drastic of one. And now you can make your way out. So here's something I had a huge trouble with. These pink bullets are motherfuckers, and they hit the worst fucking angles. It's so easy for them to wall you here. So how do you manipulate them? We want to move to here, like right here in the middle or like left of the middle. So by positioning here, it always shoots at this angle. We don't have to worry about it. Now you want to slowly move up so you have enough room to dodge down here. When the mid boss spawns in, the bullet cancel will bail you out. If you move too fast up here, you can get walled by these Zakos coming in. This whole hallway is fixed. Depending on how fast we kill the mid-bosses, the next mid-bosses will spawn in faster. If we kill everything too fast, we have to end up dodging a lot at the end. That's really scary. Here's our strategy we're going to use to deal with these. So we fight 3 mid-bosses and deal with everything just fine. This first one is the real hard one. So we want to slowly tap. You just got to get a good feel for how fast you got to tap to deal with this. You keep tapping, and once we reach this point, we want to move off a little bit to the side. You see these are shooting spreads at us from the main boss, and as soon as we kill these little circular turret things off them, they'll spawn a bullet on where they were. We start on the side, and then right as they're about to reach the bottom, that's kind of when we want to swing into the middle. It looks a bit scary because you do have to dodge into these diagonal pink bullets, but usually it's fairly clean to like find a way through the pink ones. The real thing to focus on is these pods that die and leave behind these red bullets. Now for this last pattern here, we have to do our best to dodge for as long as possible. It's easier kind of in the corner because you got more room, and you pop a hyper anytime you're scared. There's a B right here, make sure not to forget. If you pop a hyper like halfway through, you usually don't have to make too many scary dodges. Pop hyper when I'm scared, and then you only have to dodge this for a little bit. This blue spread right here in the middle, if you are any more to the left than I am here, it'll aim hard into the left directly at you, and you'll just get like point blanked right in the face. Make sure you're right next to the blue, as comfy as you are to the blue. I could have been way more to the right. The last pattern is really fucking hard, so we want to kill it at a time to where it cancels the last pattern, but we don't want to kill it too fast because then we have to deal with harder stuff as this hallway continues. All right, next section. I have issues routing it, but just make sure you go one side to the other. And you want to hard macro everything. As soon as the next mid-boss comes in, these bullets remain. However, no additional bullets will be fired. So you don't need to go all the way to the left or anything. If you can dodge through these bullets, they are the only bullets remaining. So you don't have to worry about any additional ones. Now, this boss is really easy or really hard depending on our hyper. We're lucky we built a hyper here. See this here? We can stream to the side for 3 times, and that's really easy. However, this 4th one is fucked. This 4th one's really scary. If you don't have hyper, you just gotta dodge it. You just gotta practice dodging that. Otherwise, we pop hyper so we don't have to deal with the 4th one. There's this bee right here, and it's generally like completely free to like run up and pick up. Now, these spreads here, they alternate between 2 different patterns. So the red ones are always aimed at us. We always have to tap to the side so that these red ones don't hit us. However, the blue bullet adjacent to these red ones will either be wide and to the side, or it'll be right next to the red ones. But if we have hyper here, we dodge this for not too long of a time. If you don't have hyper, I would recommend using shot in that section. Your shot does more damage to the mid bosses here. Right after the second mid boss, these enemies are gonna start appearing in couples on the side. So you see here we had like 1 and then 1-1, all on the same side. Now this boss, we can approach it a few ways. We're gonna point blank it with laser no matter what, and then move down. Now, if we use our shot for this whole time, then we don't have to dodge this last pattern. We actually kill this boss before needing to deal with this pattern. However, the last section of this whole hallway is really terrifying. It's really, really scary. I find it harder than the mid bosses. So I try to mitigate a little bit of damage. So we do the point blank, we use our shot for a little bit, and then I use my laser. This is enough to where like we only have to dodge this for a little bit. It's pretty terrifying, but I find the section after harder. So depending on how, like which one you prefer, like if you're better at this dodge, then just use your laser the whole time and you're good. You want to make sure you kill the boss though. That's why we do the point blank at the start. Otherwise, you have to dodge the last bit of the boss. Along with all these Zakos, it gets terrifying. So we're just sweeping everything as much as we can, making sure to kill these mid-sized enemies as fast as possible. And now we're finally at the end. See this bomb carrier here that dropped a bomb? If we have bombs in stock, then we don't really want to pick this one up, just as some insurance. If we get auto bombed somewhere, like if we get tagged by something, and we've picked up this bomb, we will lose all of our bombs in stock. If we have 1 bomb in stock and we get tagged somewhere, then that's fine. We could then pick up this bomb and we have an extra bomb. That's like an additional mistake we can take. Since I messed up earlier, I have no bombs here. I wanted to pick this one right up, so that way we have the auto bomb available. Right after that, go to the left, then to the right. We start at the top so that we have room to start baiting down and to the left. This gives us enough room to be able to kill it. As soon as you hear the explosion, you go to here. We're trying to survive for as long as possible and then pop hyper. Now, there's a turret up here that we want to kill, but we don't have too much room, even with the amount of delay we've done. I'm macroing everything. I don't want to do any micro dodging here. It's too scary. I'm macroing everything, and then the side of your shot is usually enough to kill it. If it doesn't kill it, that's totally fine. You just move to the middle right here to bait the next turret shot, and then you curve over and kill it. Just make sure you don't get tagged here. We want to start on the left because there's these Zakos on the left. So we're on the left side so those tanks don't shoot. And we're using our shot here. As soon as this big tank is dead and you've gotten through this pattern, you are just looking at these Zakos. You don't want to autopilot and move to the left. You'll run into their bullets. Make sure you bait them and then move over here. Now this section here, we need to make as little room as possible. We need to hug the left as much as possible here. There's 2 problems we have. There's a turret here that will point blank us if we are too far to the right. So we're trying to move as little as possible, even like moving back over if we find the room to do so. This section's way easier with hyper if you've managed to carry that over. This is the start of the second half of this stage. We're going to have a bunch of these big buildings that once they die, will give a full screen bullet cancel. And we're going to slowly tap to the left so all these aimed bullets from these guys miss us. And we're now positioned here. Right after this one dies, we're going to swing by to the left. That cleans out some Zakos. Then go to the right really fast. We're going to move like diagonally down and to the left. That way we kill this enemy while being able to like bait these diagonal Zako shots. I messed up in my clear run, so here's how you do this section properly. After you get the cancel here, you're going to want to kill these 2 turrets. After you do, make sure you bait all these Zako shots so you can macro them all at once. Position yourself in a way that you can slowly stream to the right in order to get this cancel. After that cancel, then you can cleanly get this one on the left by point blanking it with your laser. Now, you're going to want to go slowly, follow this exact pacing. Right as soon as you reach this point, pop hyper and then make your way to the right. That way you can kill this tank going from right to left cleanly. And from then on, now you could clean up the rest of this and get ready for the next section. Also, if you time that hyper correctly, by the time we kill this big building, it should refund you an additional hyper. So I gotta show you this that happened in my clear run. That was fucking crazy. I'll never be able to reproduce this. So I fucked up my dodges because I moved back a little bit. And now I had to manually dodge all these. I will never do dodges as good as these. I cannot believe that this happened. I can't believe this one was the one that ended up in the clear run. Right after we're done with the mid-sized enemies, we're gonna move to the right slowly. Just tap, tap, tap. We're right under this building now. If we did everything correctly, our hyper is just about to drop off. If you kill this enemy with hyper active, all of these bullets will cancel into big items. See, these ones are all small because in this run I didn't have hyper active. But if you kill this with hyper, you have just enough time to where this will die and then your hyper will fall off. And while you don't get too much hyper meter while you're in hyper, you get shit tons of hyper meter from big items when you're out of hyper. This is called a hyper recharge. You will build a bunch of hypers immediately. You'll build a bunch of stacks of them. It's fine though for this first one that we didn't have it because even if we don't have hyper like we do right here, there's like a B up ahead and we're gonna build hyper for the next section. We're killing this cancel right here. And now we want to make our way through all these Zakos on the right. You can go slow, so you craft yourself a path. Now make your way to the left. We're just trying to survive until right. Now pop the hyper. This is the exact time we want. Slowly tap, slowly tap. You don't want to make any sudden movements from now on. Just keep tapping, and the only thing that can hit us are these aim spreads that can't do anything to us. Right after that right cancel, you make your way to kill this left one. Now, this one's important. We start from the left and move to the right. We're going to tap shot. We don't want to keep holding shot because our hyper isn't running out fast enough for us to kill this right enemy in time for it to cancel everything and give us a hyper recharge. You just tap for a little bit. Tap, 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 tap. You see how we mitigated our damage a little bit by just tapping the hyper for a bit? And now listen to that sound. Hyper, 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 hyper. We built 5 hypers off that. That's going to be really, really important coming up ahead. We really want a lot of hypers. Right after we get that hyper recharge, you can start killing this one too. And we're going to use the bullet cancel from these to deal with these turrets as best we can. We want to rush. There's 2 turrets. Rush this right one down immediately. Then try to kill this left one. Don't swing all the way to the left or you'll run out of room. You won't kill it in time. It'll shoot a spread and wall you on the left side. Now make your way to the right and then to the left. Now up here, ideally you point blank this with your laser for as long as possible. It's really scary though because these Zakos come in. If you didn't kill all those Zakos, they'll start blasting you. This section is low-key one of the hardest parts of the entire game. This one I got a clean run of it though, so I'll show you why this one works. So here's what's going on. We need to hug the left side here. We are going to get one of these big enemies that we remember from stage 4. Then it's going to get another one on the top right. And then there's going to be a turret really low on the left of the screen. That's going to be a real pain in the ass. While all this is going on, we have all these helicopters coming in and tanks in this middle highway. And we need to find a way to deal with absolutely everything. Here's what we do. So we start here on the left side, and we're baiting everything here. We're staying on the left. Stay on the left for as long as possible. You're still pretty far on the left side. I found a clean opening right here to make our way to the left. We need to be on the left because we have to kill that turret. It's kind of hard to see, but you hear the explosion sound. Bam, turret's dead. Right after that turret dies, we don't want to rush all the way to the right side. We need to get in the middle and wait in the middle. You see this middle lane? How kind of like, see these highways here? How they like come up to this middle here where all these tanks are spawning. By sitting in the middle, we're naturally killing the tanks, so that's fewer aim shots that are hitting us. We're in the middle now, middle. Now move to the right. We make one cut there, and we're good. For this high-speed highway section, we're going to start from the left and then move to the right. We're going to move slowly up so that we kill all of these, and we have enough room to make this curve around. If you're too high on the screen, then these Zakos are going to kill you. So I kill these, we cut to the left. You want to go fairly fast to the bottom. Hold your laser, and you see up ahead this vertical highway here, this vertical road of these tanks. We're trying our best to kill as many of those as possible. See, I fucked up, and I only killed one side of them, so all these remain. So this dodge here, became really, really scary. If something like this happens and you recognize it, you should just hyper here. That's like the killing point of this section right here. Ideally, you laser here, and you kill with your laser instead of just the one half here. You're killing both of those. That makes it so you can get up and around without any bullets threatening you at all. Now, if you have hyper, you can hyper here because it makes this part a whole lot easier. You kill all the Zakos fast, and this shot will deal with all these big enemies before they can shoot that much. There's a bee really close on the left here, and then there's a bee on the right. You don't need to pick up both of the bees. You just want to pick them up if everything's going well. That's the end of stage 5. We finally made it. Now, this boss here, this first pattern, if you're going for Hibachi, this first phase is a motherfucker. This one is what was walling me from all my attempts because it's kind of a resource check. It's really terrifying because the patterns are hard, but the later patterns are really fucking hard. So we want to kill it as fast as possible. Ideally, we're bringing hyper into this fight. So we have the hyper remaining from the bridge section. And what we're going to do is we're going to point blank as much as possible. Be careful. You want to get a good grasp on what is a point blank and what is getting rammed by the boss because it's fairly easy to run into him. Get as much point blank as possible. These turrets are going to randomly choose a direction. You need to get comfy with recognizing if they're going to like shoot immediately at you. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to survive for as long as possible and then blow a resource. So at the start here, we last as long as possible, bomb. We need to point blank. We need to build as much hyper as possible. We have a hyper in stock, luckily, but otherwise we're trying to build a hyper so that we could use it here. Now, I got auto-bombed a couple times during my run, so I didn't have very many resources, but you just dodge as best you can, and then you keep blowing resources. Look how fast we build hyper. Every time we bomb, it's a good opportunity to build a bunch of hyper. And while we could dodge for as long as possible and then use our resources, what that'll mean is we'll get to the harder, later sections of this phase, which get really hard. It's already really hard dodging this pattern. I really fucking hate this pattern. This one's really weird because everything is rotating slightly, and the bullets aren't in clean lines. They're kind of like fuzzy. So it's fairly difficult to see. You need to practice this one a whole lot. If you are not going for Hibachi, you should just ignore the fuck out of the first phase. Even if you die or whatever, just keep blowing hypers and everything. Blow your hypers, blow all of your bombs. Just get that first phase out of the way. That first phase is so hard. For the rest of the fight, we don't have any other resources required. So we can technically do all of it without any extra hyper or bombs. So if you're going for the 1cc, you just bomb or use resources when you're scared. If you're going for Hibachi, we're trying to do the rest of this without spending any resources so that we build up as much hyper as possible for Hibachi and we have as many bombs for Hibachi. So we're on the side here getting the point blank. We're still building hyper even though it's invincible. We're going to bait 3 of these blue bullets and then we're going to bait them the other way. These red bullets are aimed based off you, and if you do this movement every time, these red bullets will always be positioned in a way that you can always follow this lane. You can follow these lanes, and I like to cut back after the blue bullets are done, just so we're still like, I find it easier right here to just swap to the right lane. Now here, you just gotta do your best to dodge this. Unfortunately, take a look here on my clear run. Bam! That's what I mean by being clipped in this game. Unfortunately, we had 2 bombs, so I lost both of those. Now, we need to position ourselves for this next one. These are all aimed on us, so you just tap, and that's perfectly fine. We want to start in the middle or on the side of the middle, just like here. And we're slowly tapping, really slowly. I'm doing the diagonal movement once again to move as slowly as possible. And you'll dodge both the blue spreads and here. And once you make it to the side, you can stream all the way up the side, and it puts us in a perfect position to bait this stinger in a way to where this pattern's a lot easier to deal with. So ideally, we bait it to the side like this. We get some point blank in, and now we dodge here. Now this pattern, I fucking hate this pattern. But here's what you do. These red bullets are kind of aimed on you, but they start aiming on you while you're still dodging the blue ones. So just focus on dodging the blue, and then wait on the, you don't want to move up and down. After you've dodged the blue, you like pick your horizontal position. You stay there, you move to the left, and then as the bullets are just about to hit us, we start moving up. We're on the bottom of the screen, so we have enough room to move up. If you're too high on the screen, then you got to make a really scary dodge at the top of the screen. This movement up baits these red bullets in a way to where they create a clean lane. If you need to practice this so you know how to manipulate these red bullets. Otherwise, they'll completely wall you and there's no way out. Now, ideally, you stop shooting here because you want to build as many hypers off this next section as possible. But I found it's not that big a deal. And like, you would rather not have to dodge this one for longer than necessary. So what I do is after this pattern, I just get on the boss, start point blanking it. Now this one looks terrifying. Once you get a feel for what you can and can't get away with it, this pattern is really not that bad. And here's the things you want to focus on. You see these like, you don't have to worry about these red shots being shot upwards. And you don't have to worry about running into these solar panels. You're using laser the whole time, which is building you a lot of hyper meter because you're getting both the aura and your laser. And you clean out them really fast because your laser point blank does so much damage. So once you got a feel for how fast you can move through these solar panels, the only thing you have to think about now is you are thinking about these red aimed pointed bullets at you, and you are looking at the direction of these blue bullets. I'm just looking at the blue bullet openings. I find I just want this opening on the right. I don't want to be stuck on a side. And now here we can make a decision. We could pick to go right or left. Because these are aimed at you, as long as you're at the very bottom of the screen, while it looks like there's a really thick pile of bullets, really they're only hitting a really small spot. Look at that intersection there. It's not very big. So you have room, just as long as you're not flailing up on the top of the screen. I would just primarily focus on looking at the blue bullets, the openings between each waves of them, and just slowly making your way over there. And then after you do that, you're then confirming that the red aim bullets are not going to hit you. And this here is how we're going to build a lot of hypers to clean out this last phase. We want the point blank as much as possible. We want at minimum 4 hypers here. You might be able to do it with 3. I haven't like super checked the damage, but the more hypers, the better. You want as much point blank, and then you get in a lane. You want to always be damaging the boss, and we want to start on the left side of one of these lanes so that all of these circular shots that are coming in are being baited over there. Try to make your way to the boss now. Pop hypers. If you have 4 to 5 hypers, I think 5 hypers for sure. You can sit on top of the boss now. So make sure you get right up to the boss, so as soon as you pop hyper, you're immediately point blanking. And you can sit there and you'll kill the boss before you get tagged or anything. If you're like at a weird hyper level, like 4, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to kill it in time. You can point blank as much as possible and then move down. And by that time, you've usually killed it. I didn't have to make any dodges there. And congratulations. If you are going for the 1cc, you've made it. You've successfully made it there. And even though in my run, I fucked up a lot and like got hit a bunch of times in some catastrophic places, I still have my current life, 4 lives in stock. If you are just going for the 1cc and following this route, you have room for a couple mistakes, and then you have like 4 spare lives worth of mistakes and bombs. So if you're just going for the 1-all, blow your resources. That last stage, you saw what we have to do. The last stage is fucked. But now we move on to Hibachi. All right, Hibachi, holy fucking shit. If you've made it to the end and you've not died twice or more than that, and you've gotten all the bees on 3 stages, you get to fight Hibachi. Now, Hibachi in this game is really goddamn hard. I don't know if this is the hardest Hibachi, but my last Hibachi was DFK Black Label, which that's probably the easiest one. This one is psycho. Most of the Hibachis you fight, you resource through, like you plan setups. Like in Daioujou and DFK BL, you just plan your hypers and your bombs to nullify a lot of the patterns, and you make it to the resource check with everything intact, and then you have all your resources to blow through that. The problem with this Hibachi is you have to dodge every single pattern, and they're all they're all fucking impossible, man. They're all really, really hard, especially this first one. Look at this one. We want the point blank as much as possible. Be careful not to run into Hibachi. Your movement is pretty sporadic. And her hitbox is huge. Don't rely on the sprite. I would more rely on this aura around Hibachi. This first pattern is fucking impossible, man. I've never dodged it before, period, ever. Not in save state practice, not in runs. This pattern is actually static, but the movement of Hibachi is not static. And the longer it goes, these red bullets speed up and up and up. It's very, very hard to react, and I'm on a really low rank. Usually you reach this boss if you played perfectly. If you played perfect, you come into this fight with this route with 1 additional life than we have here and 1 bomb. We don't have that, so luckily our rank's down, but for these first few patterns, it doesn't really matter. This shit is still really hard. Here's what I do to get through this first pattern with as few resources lost as possible. We're going to dodge like 4 or 5 of these big ones, and then we're going to swap into the middle, in between the fat one and the small one. So we dodge, dodge, dodge. We go in the middle, and then we go in the middle again, like left one more time. Now we're going to make our way to the right, and then we just fucking YOLO it. That's about the best I can survive. That'll put us in a good situation. If you have a bomb, then you want the bomb at that point, or last as long as you can and then bomb. And that'll delay this boss enough that you reach this point. You see this point here? It's still shooting, which is terrifying. However, while we cannot be in the middle, if you try hugging the middle of Hibachi here, shit just doesn't work. You'll get hit. However, at the end here, it opens up. See here? If you spent a bomb or you died, you just have to dodge it for a little bit and then swing down and through the middle, and you're good. Even if like you didn't have as much room as I had. This pattern, you want point blank for as much as possible, and then you need to get out of the middle. What I think you're supposed to do is you're supposed to dodge one side at a time so you get those over with. So you only have to dodge as few as possible overlapping waves at once. And as soon as you're in danger, you need to pop a resource. You do not want to trigger auto bomb here. If you lose additional bombs, you are so fucked for the later parts of this fight. You really, really, really don't want auto bomb to trigger. And especially if your rank is high, you really, really need the bombs to drop your rank down. You need your rank to be completely plummeted by the time you're on the last pattern. Otherwise, it's too hard to dodge. So what we ended up doing is we had to use a hyper and a bomb. This is not too good. Our damage is pretty bad. You want to point blank for as much as possible before she starts her next pattern. And then once she moves up, I could have greeted harder. Once she moves up, get to the bottom. You're going to start not directly in the middle, but slightly off like the side of Hibachi. Because otherwise shit like this could happen and you'll get shot in the middle immediately. This pattern is actually dodgeable, unlike the other ones. You don't need a resource, but what you do need to watch for is whenever it throws you a fucked pattern like this is dodgeable. I could have switched shot and done it. You need to do this enough times to recognize what is a dodgeable layer and what is a bombable one. Luckily, they're pretty obvious once they're bombable and you'll get a good feel for it. My fucking dumbass tried greeting and like tried bombing last second. So I got hit auto bomb here. Luckily, we only lost 1 bomb. But here's what you want to do. You don't want to ever be like hard in the middle unless there's some openings in the middle where it gives you like multiple safe spots in the middle, back to back to back. Like you see right here, you could be in the middle for right now. Wow, that happened like 5 in a row. But ideally, being right here means you have as much room as possible to move between like the middle and the left lane. Like you see here, I felt like I needed to move to the left for a bit. You have the freedom to do that. You honestly just got to practice that one a lot to get good at it. You see here, we've barely done any damage to Hibachi. That changes now. We get point blank here. So how do we start the 4th pattern without getting hit immediately by these red shots? We are going to be in this position. Use the bomb bar. A position right around here will be good. You won't be like immediately spawned on by these red shots. And now I popped a hyper here. Why did I pop hyper? Well, we did so little damage because of the mistakes we made earlier. We didn't get too much damage on the 2nd pattern, and anytime you bomb and hyper, the boss has a shield where you can build hyper meter still, but you don't deal any damage to it. And that's causing us to fall behind in damage. Because we made several mistakes, we need to cover that with some additional damage. So I pop hyper here. Otherwise, if your damage is good, don't pop hyper here. You want hypers as high as possible for the last phase. How do we dodge this pattern? This actually is the easiest pattern in the fight because it's static. So you can memorize it and then you'll be able to do it. So while it looks terrifying, let me show you how this works. So we move up with Hibachi, always point blanking her. Be careful so she doesn't like ram into you. She's moving down and up. And now look at this. So where do we need to be looking? We are in our red lane. We're just looking at the red bullets. We're in this lane here, and anytime now the blue bullets are about to hit us, we make a move. Blue bullets about to hit us, make a move. Now listen to the music. See the music? That right there, that's a cue that we have to do something different. And then we wait for the next music. Right there, when it picks up again, then we have to make some changes. This boss will always have the music at that exact timing every single time. So we can like arrange our timings of our dodges based off of that. So while the music is just playing like normal here, we're just in the red lane tapping. Music changed. We now need to dodge a blue, then dodge a red, then dodge a blue. My eyes are focused on the blue bullet, and then I'm looking at the red. Then I'm looking at the blue, then I'm looking at the red. And you just alternate that. And I found that it's not too hard to just tunnel vision in on that and just focus on one at a time, and you can get through it like really consistently. Now the problem is after, when the music gets to this point, it gets a lot faster. You can't do this anymore. Eventually you're gonna run into it. So we dodge back and forth, but I make one additional like double dodge. Instead of going like back, forth, I go like forth, and then back. And that'll carry you to the end here. Now ideally you've killed her by then, but our damage sucks, so I died there. The real motherfucker of this fight that makes this fight so hard is that at the end of this phase, it loops back to the first and second patterns, which are fucking impossible and a drain on your resources. You need these to last for as little time as possible. You really want Hyper. If you haven't popped Hyper yet going into our final phase, you want to pop it immediately. You do get a few ticks of damage before she transitions into the B, but ultimately, like if you don't have Hyper popped and you have Hyper available, just pop it immediately so that her Hyper invulnerability runs out in time for you to point blank for as much as possible right here. You need to do as much damage here as possible, so you have to dodge this last phase for as little time as possible. Start on the right, curve down. Be careful of the boss's movement. It's pretty random. It can wall you. And you want to hug this red line here, because the second one spawns in. If you're not hugging the red line, you're just going to get swept by that immediately. Now I have a lot of issues with this dodge. So we have to dodge through this twice. We have to dodge through that twice, make our way to the left, and then bomb. This is enough time to where we get through this really hard pattern. Honestly, I would like practice the shit ton out of this dodge right here. Otherwise, all your resources are out of whack, and this last phase is so goddamn hard. Why is this phase really hard? Because it rotates between two patterns. This pattern here, where everything's all pink, the DDP pattern, is dodgeable. It's really hard, but it's dodgeable. Now this pattern here, the washing machine from DOJ, this shit is not dodgeable. This shit is fucking impossible. Like actually, this shit is not doable at all. So the way the resource check for this fight works is you have to resource your way around the washing machine and then dodge this for as long as possible, trying not to use your resources, because every resource you use is delaying time where you can actually hit the boss on the part where you can actually shoot her without her having like bomb or hyper invulnerability. And then you need to spend your bombs or your death time to delay through the washing machine. If you die during the DDP pattern, you come back with a hyper and then the washing machine starts. So like say this happens and now you have a hyper available. You can no longer bomb here. You have to blow your hyper, which doesn't have much invuln. Then you have to bomb and then maybe bomb again. That means you can't hyper Hibachi. So for this whole fight, what you really want to focus on is do as best you can to dodge this pattern and try fucking your best to not die here. You really want to manage your hyper so that you come back for the the washing machine with not a hyper in stock. Whenever you die, you get a stimulus of half your hyper. So if you're in a position like this, you're good. You can just do as best you can to dodge this. And then if you die, we're not going to build up that hyper. And if you're about to build that hyper, don't point blank the boss. You don't want to build that. You want to spend bombs so that when you do hyper here, you actually get your hyper usage on a time where it can damage the boss. Now let's go into how to actually dodge the boss. So we start off We point blank it as much as possible. We do these first 2 dodges. We go to the side. We bomb. The bomb invulnerability is enough, signified by the crystal around our ship, that we can sit our face in front of Hibachi and it'll cancel the rest of the washing machine. We use that and we cancel as much as the next bit as possible, and then we move down. And now we dodge. So we're trying to find a clean lane. If the boss throws us like patterns like these lanes are really easy to dodge in. However, this boss throws in lanes of 2. These 2 here, it'll throw in like spreads of 2, and these are really fucking hard to dodge. Especially if like right here, we got 2, 2, 2, like right in front of us. It makes things a real hassle. Your whole goal on this is to follow a lane as best you can, and you're watching out and trying to swap lanes or like dodge for the doubles. It's really easy to just sit in one of these lanes that's just singles, but as soon as you see a double, you are popping a resource if you're not confident in dodging it. If this pattern is the huge reason why you want your rank low. This whole fight, you need to be bombing. You do not want to be auto-bombing your bombs away and losing rank loss, because this pattern is already really goddamn hard at 0 rank. If you come in here at like 10 rank or higher, you are not going to be able to survive the DDP pattern, this thing. And what's end up going to happen is you're going to die during this pattern. You're going to come back and maybe like have hyper. You're going to have to blow the hyper and then immediately cancel your hyper into a bomb for like a section like this. And then you're super, super fucked. So that's the main thing you want to focus on. You just really want to manage your hyper here. You need to pop a resource the moment you see that during this DDP pattern, you're in a fuck section. And then once you're here where you have 1 bomb available, you want to use your auto bomb instead of a normal bomb. Because the boss invuln is not very long, the bomb itself doesn't last very long, so you get more damage during the DDP pattern. And if you blow a normal bomb, it lasts for so long, you could end up into like you killed too much time and you didn't get much opportunity to shoot the boss. So if you want to see that like unedited, I have like in the description the like just the run itself. But fuck. Hibachi's something else, man. That was like my 7th attempt in run. I was so relieved to finally have that one done over with. Hopefully this video could help out with your own Saidaioujou runs, whether you're just going for the survival run or if you're trying to kill Hibachi. If there's any questions you have on anything I missed or any particular section you're having trouble with, feel free to toss below and I could try to help out.